champions, how are you all? I hope that you are doing wonderful. All my children are doing so great. And I welcome you to score 360 out of 360 in NEET Bio within 250-day series. And I hope that you are giving all your efforts. You're putting all your efforts into this thing, right? So every day morning, I'm giving you tasks. That is, you have to read this, you have to read this, you have to solve 5 questions. I just hope that you are very consistent in this. And if you're consistent in this, I am pretty sure that you are moving towards your goal. And I am here with you throughout the entire process. Yes, today we are going to talk about gestation, parturition and lactation, which is again a very important topic, and along with it I'll be talking about the 5 previous year questions that I showed you in the shorts. Yeah, and what did we do previously? We spoke about fertilization and implantation, as well as a lot of other things, menstrual cycle, this and that, from the same chapter. So if you have not watched those videos, please go watch it. Initially I thought I'll be just picking the most important topics. Okay, but then somehow, seeing the number of questions that is coming from these topics, I thought I'll complete a chapter more or less in a more or less way. It's not like I completed the whole chapter. One or two topics I might have left here and there. But yes, the majority of the topics are being done because I thought that these topics are going to reward you with certain marks. Yeah. So yes, I welcome you for that. And now we go ahead. Let's see, what did we study previously. So in the previous session, I told you I spoke about fertilization and implantation. This is what we were doing. And if you want the PDF of the same, what you can do, please join the WhatsApp channel. You can get the PDF of the same as well over there. Yeah. Now, let's just have a quick revision, not a very big revision. So, children, the egg and the sperm, they fused. What did we get? We got zygote. Okay, now zygote, it was a single cell, it started division, now it's an embryo. Okay, it has a 2-cell stage, 4-cell stage, and it goes on, it has an 8 to 16-cell stage, which is known as morula. Okay, by 3rd or 4th day, you will get a morula, and the morula will keep on dividing. It will move down, and then it will form something that is known as blastocyst. So this is that stage at which the embryo now finally gets implanted into the endometrial layer, that is the innermost layer of the uterus. Right? When does the implantation happen? It happens on the 7th day itself. Okay, what is the outermost layer of the blastocyst known as? It is known as trophoblast, and then inside this we have the inner cell mass, and then inside this we have a cavity, okay, which is known as fluid filled cavity, which is known as blastocele, inside which you will be having glycogen. Where did they get the glycogen from? From the endometrium itself, because the endometrium was in the secretory phase. It was releasing lots of glycogen for the embryo to grow. Yeah. So I hope you remember all of these things. And now it is said that trophoblast is releasing something that is known as HCG. We'll come to that. So I hope this particular thing was clear. Now we are going ahead from this particular point, and I gave you a question as well. Were you able to solve this question? Let's see the question. Sperm and the egg nuclei fused due to. Why do they fuse? First, base pairing of their DNA and RNA, it's too much to think of. As of now in this chapter, we didn't even talk about DNA and RNA such, right? So let's just exclude that point. Formation of hydrogen bonds, again something that has no relation as of now. So let's exclude. Mutual attraction due to differences in electric charges comes with physics. No. As of now, let's say bye-bye to physics. Over here, attraction of their protoplasm. Now that's something that comes in biology, and that is something that is very much important as well. What do you mean by protoplast? Basically, all the content that includes the cytoplasm, nucleoplasm, everything is known as protoplast. Generally, this term is used for plant cells, but again, yes. So basically, it is the attraction of the protoplast, which is why the sperm and the egg nuclei fuses up. And this came in the year 1990. Probably this now it might not come because lots of things are being restricted as of now. But still, you should be knowing certain things. So it was very easy, I suppose, because you could exclude straight 3 options which were not at all something related to human reproduction and in some or the other ways. So obviously you can go with the 4th point, that is attraction of their protoplast. Protoplast means cytoplasm plus nucleoplasm, every content, all the content of the cell. So it's because of the attraction of the 2 different cells that happens. That is why the egg and the sperm nuclei, they fuse. Yeah, and also because of other factors. Going ahead, we have this particular topic. Let's start it. I thought that I'll make you read things and then we'll go ahead. So let's read it first. After implantation, finger-like projections appear on the trophoblast known as chorionic villi. So they are saying, you remember the trophoblast which was there, the outermost cellular layer of the blastocyst. It is saying that there are finger-like projections coming from the trophoblast, and these projections, what do you call? You call it chorionic villi, which are surrounded by the uterine tissue. That means this particular finger-like projection is covered by, it is surrounded by some the uterine tissue from the mother's end as well, okay, and the maternal blood. Okay, the maternal blood is also there, everything is there. The chorionic villi and the uterine tissue, okay, chorionic villi is from the embryo's end and the uterine tissue is obviously from the mother's end, right? Both of them, they become interdigitated, as in they fuse, okay, with each other and jointly form a structural and the functional unit between the developing embryo and the maternal body known as placenta. So this was from the embryo's end, that is the chorionic villi. This was the uterine tissue and everything was from the mother's end, and now both of them are interdigitated. They fuse together to form the structural and functional unit between the embryo, developing embryo, and the maternal body. What do you call this? You call this as placenta. Now at this point of time, it's just me talking to you in regards of NCERT and making you remember things, that's all. But as of now, I don't think you understood that how this is formed. So we will be talking about that as well. Okay, now what is the use of placenta? Why there is a need of placenta? It facilitates the supply of oxygen and nutrients to the embryo, and also the removal of carbon dioxide and excretory waste materials produced by the embryo. So first thing, you're giving something. What are you giving? Obviously, the embryo is needing what? Needing oxygen. All the organs and everything is still being developing, even though after getting developed also, still they need the maternal blood for oxygen and everything there. Okay, so the use of placenta, okay, is to supply oxygen as well as the important nutrients. Okay, now the embryo, obviously it's doing all its processes, so it will be giving out the waste material, that is CO2, or also the excretory waste products. So all this thing has to be taken back as well. So that is the use of placenta. It gives oxygen and everything and takes back what? Carbon dioxide and excretory waste produced by the embryo. The placenta is connected to the embryo through an umbilical cord. So you might have seen when the baby is born, you cut a cord. What is this cord known as? This is known as umbilical cord. So what is umbilical cord? It is connecting the fetus, the growing fetus. Once the embryo divides, it comes in a developmental stage, you call it as a fetus. Okay. Now, during this stage, the fetus, it is connected to the placenta with the help of a cord. What do you call this cord as? Umbilical cord. Okay, which helps in the transport of substances to and from the embryo. So this is something that forms a connection between them and helps in transport of oxygen, right, to the embryo, and what's the transport of carbon dioxide back to the placenta, then out from the female body. Yeah, placenta also acts as an endocrine tissue. This is very important point. Endocrine tissue, as what do you mean by endocrine? Endocrine glands and everything means they are the ones that releases hormones. What do they release, children? They are the ones that releases hormones. So placenta in some of the other way will be acting as an endocrine tissue as well. But is this particular endocrine tissue permanent? No. It is there just during pregnancy. So can I call this endocrine tissue as temporary? Yes, I can call. So if this question comes, what is the temporary endocrine tissue formed in the female body? It will be obviously the placenta. Okay, I hope this is also clear. Now, let me talk about this particular paragraph in detail. Over here, first thing that we have is, you had the trophoblast, remember? You had the trophoblast. Now, the trophoblast is going to divide itself into two. This is the after picture. Okay, so if you want the initial picture, I can draw that as well. So, where shall I draw it? Where shall I draw it? I shall draw it here itself. So, this was the condition. You had a trophoblast layer. Okay. This is the trophoblast layer, inside which you had the inner cell mass. Okay, and inside this was the blastocell, fluid filled cavity space. So the whole thing was known as blastocyst. Now what has happened? This particular trophoblast that you see over here, it has divided into two. Okay, now it has divided into two. You have two layers of trophoblast. There will be an inner layer, there will be an outer layer. This thing that you see over here, this is the outer layer. This is the outer layer. This is, for example, T1 I can say, and this is T2. So this particular layer that you see has subdivided into two layers. One will be the inner layer, one will be the outer layer. Now as you can see, the inner layer has own cells, has different cells, okay, which is why you call this as cytotrophoblast, since it has a proper cell body. So it is known as cytotrophoblast. Fine. The outer thing that you see over here, They do not have segregated cells. Do you see cell over here? No, I just see so much space over here, and in the space you will be having so many nuclei as well. That means the nucleus is keeping on dividing, but the cell is not dividing. So one cell is containing so many nucleus. Usually what happens? A cell, it is there, it divides into two. In each of them will have a nucleus. So cytoplasm has also divided and the nucleus has also divided, making it into two cells, which has happened over here. But if you talk about the outer layer, what is happening? The cytoplasm is dividing, it's growing. Okay, but the nucleus, sorry, cytoplasm is not dividing, cytoplasm is just growing, but the nucleus which is there inside, it is dividing into multiple numbers. This layer it happens usually in biology, you can see in different spaces as well. So it is known as syncytium. When this happens, what do you call this as? You call this as syncytium. Syncytium. I hope I'm not messing up with the spelling. Hopefully, yes. So over here, this particular layer that is being formed, you call as syncytiotrophoblasts. And this is a cytotrophoblast. You call this as syncytiotrophoblaст. Okay, so your trophoblast divided into two. One is the outer layer, syncytiotrophoblaст. The other inner layer is known as cytotrophoblast, since it has so many cells. Now, if you see the inner cell mass, it also has divided into two. This one, okay, this one you call as hypoblast. What do you call? Hypoblast. And this one, the red one that I am showing over here, it is known as epiblast. Hypoblast and epiblast. So as of now, everything divided into two. Trophoblast divided into two and the inner cell mass also divided into two. Now you might be thinking, why is ma'am not writing the name? It is there in the next slide, that is why. Okay. So over here, yeah, the spelling of syncytio was this. This is why I already write things when I come, because I know that I could mess things up. So yes, it is syncytiotrophoblast. Okay, there is Y also. That is the outermost layer. Inside this, what do you have, children? Just extending this. This is the cytotrophoblast, yeah, and over here this is the epiblast that I was talking about, and this is the hypoblast. So epiblast and hypoblast. I hope that is also clear. Now let's see what happens to this particular structure. Next thing that happens. So just imagine there is epiblast, right? There is epiblast which is there. Okay, I'm just going to make something like this. Okay, just give me a second. I can make things in an easier manner. Like this. So imagine that this is the epiblast. Yeah, the epiblast, it is going to have a gap in between. It is going to have a gap in between. Okay. Now that means there will be cells over here. Okay, there will be cells over here which you still call as what? Epiblast. And there will be cell over outside which you call as what? Amnion. What do you call these cells as? Amnion. So I am saying the division takes place. The one on the inner side over here, it will be still known as epiblast. The one cells that are lined outside will be known as amnion. So looking over here in the next structure, I can help you understand things. So this will be still epiblast. But the cells lining over here, this thing, you call as what? You call as what? Amnion. Now why, ma'am? Why is this happening? So basically you need to create a space. In the space you are going to fill something which is known as what? Amniotic fluid. So you might have seen when babies are born, there will be so much fluid also coming out. What is this? This is the amniotic fluid. Why do you think there is a need of amniotic fluid over there? Because children, the baby is inside the womb. There could be so many things happening around, right? So we need to protect the baby, which is why we have amniotic fluid, and also it prevents the embryo from getting dehydrated. Okay, and there will be help of diffusion and everything happening in and around there. So basically amniotic fluid is very much necessary for the baby. Now epiblast is the one that will be responsible for the formation of the embryo, or basically the fetus, not the embryo, because embryo is this stages that you see over here, these are embryonic stages, and now it will slowly divide and form the fetus, right? So basically epiblast is the one that is responsible for that. Now you might be thinking that what is this, ma'am? This is also something has happened to this guy also. So before that, I want you to write this thing. You have what? The amnion, the outer layer over here, amniotic fluid, and the inner mass that you still have is known as epiblast. Now we will talk about this particular guy. Over here, listen to me very carefully again. So there was hypoblast. There was what? Hypoblast, and where did it go? Yes. Again we will make things. Yeah. So your hypoblast is like this. Fine. It also will clean from between. It will also have some space. To this side, the cells which are being present are still would be known as what? They would be still known as what? Hypoblast. And now this particular space that you see over here, it will be having cells, it will be known as the yolk sac. What will it be known as? It will be known as the yolk sac. So yolk sac also will be providing nutrition to the growing embryo. It might take the role of placenta for some time, because placenta formation needs time. As of now, the placenta is not being formed. It has just got implanted, and this is what is happening. You're talking about how the placenta is formed. Okay, so as of now, I am telling you there is a space over here which is known as yolk sac, which will be in a way helping. Usually, this is the function of yolk sac. It helps to provide nutrition and everything. And also, when the umbilical cord will be formed, it will be contributing to that as well. Okay, so as of now, you can remember that. So basically, what is happening? The hypoblast remains the same. Over here, what do we have? Yolk sac. Will you remember it? So hypoblast, yolk sac. Okay, so what all divisions took place? The trophoblast divided into two. Syncytial trophoblast and cytotrophoblast. Okay, there was inner cell mass also divided into two. What was it? Epiblast and hypoblast. Epiblast now divided. Okay, now the outermost layer that you see over here, that is towards that side, it is known as amnion. What is the fluid filled space known as, and what fluid it has? Sorry, it is known as amniotic fluid that it's there. Okay, now hypoblast also divided. What did you get? Yolk sac and also hypoblast itself. Now let's go ahead. What happens now? There is something over here. What is that something? Let's see. Let's see that something. So over here, the yolk sac cells basically lead to formation of certain other cells over here. Lead to formation of this particular space over here. And what do you call this space as? Children, we are going to get through the end of this. Okay, you don't need to feel that there is some more torture over here. Better I'll write it in different color because I think it's not visible. So this particular layer that is being formed with the help of the yolk sac, I told you yolk sac is helpful. It is known as extra embryonic mesoderm. What do you call this, children? Extra embryonic mesoderm. So this is something extra that is coming from the embryo. You can remember like that. So this is extra embryonic mesoderm that will be surrounding the whole thing. Yeah. So the next slide, I have mentioned it properly. This is extra embryonic mesoderm. Now there will be something happening to the extra embryonic mesoderm. Let's see. Okay. Oh, wait. So yes, the extra embryonic mesoderm. No, why is showing like that? Just a second. Okay, I can explain here itself. Basically, the extra embryonic mesoderm also will be having certain spaces. So for example, there will be space around here. Okay, there will be space around here. So I'm not able to properly make it. But yes, there will be lots of spaces, and you will be seeing that there will be extra embryonic mesoderm that connects the epiblast and the outer layer. That is this particular thing that you see over here. So I'll mark it. This thing, this is going to be the future umbilical cord. What is it going to be? It will be forming the future umbilical cord. What has happened, children? Extra embryonic mesoderm, in that there will be few spaces that comes around. Yeah, over here it will be still connected to the embryo, to the epiblast actually, and this connection will be the future umbilical cord. Now let's see what happens. So over here you have the syncytial trophoblast, cytotrophoblast, and the extra embryonic mesoderm which was there. Together you call it as what? Chorion. What do you call this as? Chorion. So everything that happened before it, it was happening in the 8th day. So in 8th day, everything was getting formed, everything was getting cleaved and everything. 7th day, implantation happened, and the 8th day, everything happened. And now on the 9th day, this is being formed. What is being formed? Chorion is being formed. So over here, what is chorion, children? Syncytial, cyto and the extraembryonic mesoderm that you see together. What do you call them? You call it as chorion. Remember, in our NCERT there is something that is known as chorionic villi. So we are going to study that how is chorionic villi exactly formed, not exactly formed. And this happens on the 9th day. Remember, and this guy is also there. Please remember it. Still being connected. The mesoderm is being connected to the epiblast. Let's see. So basically what happened? Everything that you see over here, they made finger-like projections. So as of now, they were looking like this. They will slowly transform into something. Okay, so the cytotrophoblast, everything made finger-like projections like this. Yeah, so you see 1 finger, 2 finger and things like that, and along with it, the syncytial trophoblast will also line itself. The extraembryonic membrane layer that you see over here in blue, I cannot make it blue because it might not be visible, but I'll still try. So everything got lined in this space that it has forming finger-like projections now. So this will look like this over here. So syncytial trophoblast is there, cytotrophoblast is there, extraembryonic mesoderm is there. Now these finger-like projections, children, what do you call them? You call it chorionic villi. What do you call it? Chorionic villi. Now what is the use of this, ma'am? Why were we doing all this? Remember, children, from the uterus and there is from the embryos and there is something. What is that something? This is the chorionic villi. Okay. Now this chorionic villi. Now remember, everything is happening around endometrium, right? So there is endometrium layer as well, and in this endometrium layer, it will be richly supplied with blood vessels, maternal blood vessels. So just remember, just think of a blood vessel going around here, and this blood vessel is having a connection over here. It is giving out blood to this particular space. So this is from the mother's end, okay? This is from the mother's end. Mother is giving the maternal blood with the help of what? Mother is not giving the maternal blood. Basically, it is going to help the child, the embryo develop with the help of diffusion. There would never be a contact between the mother's blood and the child's blood. Never. Child, whenever I say child, please take it to be the fetus, okay, the growing fetus. So never they will be meeting. The blood won't be obviously meeting. It will be just diffusion happening. There will be just diffusion happening over here. So you might be thinking, what happens over here? So basically, yes, the blood vessels are there. You call it maternal sinusoids, okay. There will be openings over here, which is why the blood could come in. Now, where is it going? The embryo is being formed, fetus is being formed here. Obviously, these cannot mix. Where is it going? So what happens next is, there will be spaces in the syncytial trophoblast, yeah, and you know that there are blood vessels around here in the endometrium layer. It will give out the blood over here, and now the structure would look like something like this, yeah. So you have the blood all around the embryo, yeah, with the help of chorionic villi and the utral layer that is being formed, yes. And now if you see what happens, slowly this blood will be transported with the help of the umbilical cord, which will be formed over here. So in this way the blood could be transported to the growing embryo or the growing fetus, okay. I hope this is clear. Now chorionic villi, I told you how it is formed. Slowly the uterine wall, everything, endometrium, as I said, they will be giving out the blood vessels and everything as well. Together, all this thing that you see over here will be forming something that is known as placenta. And the placenta will be connected. The placenta will be connected to the growing fetus with the help of what, children? It will be connected with the help of umbilical cord. Okay, and the major contribution of umbilical cord is given by the yolk sac over here. Fine. I hope this is done. Yes. Now, going ahead, the placenta facilitates the supply of oxygen, I told you, and the nutrients to the embryo, and also the removal of carbon dioxide and excretory waste. This is very important question. It comes in assertion and reason. What is the use of, is this a function of the placenta or not? Everything comes, okay. The placenta is connected to the embryo to the umbilical cord, which helps in the transport of substances to and from the embryo. Placenta also acts as an endocrine tissue and produces several hormones. Now this is very much important. Human chorionic gonadotropin, human placental lactogen, estrogens and progesterones. So basically I write it here itself, okay. So if this is the placenta, children, I say it's a temporary endocrine tissue, okay. I say it is what? A temporary endocrine as in hormone secreting, okay, tissue Why? Because it is going to release certain hormones. First one is human chorionic gonadotropin. You know chorionic villi and everything? Yes. So basically the whole thing is going to release gonadotropins, human chorionic gonadotropins, human chorionic gonadotropins. What is the use of this, ma'am? So basically children, you need to maintain the corpus luteum. Remember something like corpus luteum, we studied it earlier. There is something like corpus luteum. And what was the function of this, children? The function of this was to release what? Progesterone, mainly progesterone, and also estrogen. Now what was the function of progesterone and estrogen? It was maintaining what? The endometrium. Now you only think, if endometrium is not maintained, will implantation take place? No. Will chorionic villi form? Obviously nothing will happen. So this guy is very much important. This guy is very much important, but there is a problem. What is that problem? So when corpus luteum secretes progesterone, estrogen, when the amount of progesterone and everything increases, it goes and says GnRH, that is gonadotropic hormones, gonadotropin releasing hormones, basically released by the hypothalamus. It says, please stop it. Please stop the secretion of all this thing. Now when this particular guy stopped, obviously FSH and LH, okay, which are best friends, they will also be stopping their secretion. Now if LH is not there, corpus luteum would not be formed. I'll tell you once again, progesterone basically goes and says to hypothalamus, please stop your secretion. Now when hypothalamus stop its secretion, that is GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone, when it stops it, it will now go and affect the anterior pituitary and say you don't need to release FSH and LH, because if only this guy is released, then only these will be released. Now when LH is being released, that is when corpus luteum is being sustained, maintained. So as of now, because of this thing happening, okay, being progesterone release and everything being happening, obviously at the end the corpus luteum won't be maintained. But during pregnancy it has to be maintained, or else this particular process won't be happening. Okay, so what is the use of this guy now? Now when the embryo is getting implanted at this point of time, as I said, the human chorionic gonadotropins are being released with the help of the placenta. Now when they are released, they go act on the corpus luteum and say, hey, you can stay. Please do not break down, you can stay and still form progesterone and estrogen and everything. This time it does not have to depend on GnRH and everything to get maintained. So as of now, human chorionic gonadotropin is going to help maintain the corpus luteum. When corpus luteum is maintained, this will maintain this, and obviously if this is maintained, endometrium will be maintained as well. So that is the use of human chorionic gonadotropin. From where is it released, children? It is released from the placenta. Now next thing, human placental lactogen. Lactogen, as you know the term lactose, lactogen, basically everything is related to milk. So this particular hormone is going to act on the female breast. Okay, for example, if there is a mother, okay, this particular hormone will be acting on the mother's breast, and it will help in development of the acid ducts and not acid ducts, basically the mammary gland what is present. Okay, so all the growth and everything is handled by the human placental lactogen, which is there from the placenta. Now you might have heard of something else which is known as prolactin. So listen, prolactin is not something that is released from placenta. Let me tell you very clear, this is something very important, and I am giving you clues for the test as well. So basically prolactin is not released by the placenta, it is released by the pituitary glands which is present, okay, and it also acts on the maternal mammary gland and helps in production, growth and everything. Okay, so that is something different, this is something different. So placenta, human chorionic gonadotropins, human placental lactogen, and apart from it, obviously very two important hormones, that is what? Progesterone and estrogen. Will you remember this four people? These four guys, can you remember? Let's see. Placenta releases four things. What is it? HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, HPL, human placental lactogen, and then progesterone, and then estrogen. Just four. Remember it. Four. Only four. Okay. Now, in the later phase of pregnancy, a hormone called relaxin is also secreted by the ovary. This is not placenta, this is secreted by the ovary. And when is it secreted? During the later phase of pregnancy, not now, during late phase of pregnancy when the childbirth has to happen. What is the role of relaxin over there? Let me tell you. What is the role of relaxin? Where can I show you that? I'll write it here itself. Why am I not including another page? Because children, it might not be there when I export the PDF. So relaxin, no, it goes and acts on the muscles of the what? Of the uterus, so that they could relax and basically help in the removal of, or basically help in the process of parturition. The baby comes out. So relaxin is making the muscles over there to relax, and where it is produced from? It is produced from the ovary. So ovary is very thoughtful. So ovary, guys, very thoughtful. So you can remember like this. So ovary thought, I was the one who released the ovum and this whole thing happened. Now female body cannot suffer more. So let me release something that is known as relaxin towards the end of pregnancy, so that the baby could easily move out. Okay, it could easily relax the muscles, which is why now if it's contracting, obviously it would be moving out. So when it's relaxed, okay, so easily it could be moving out. But contraction does happen. I'll tell you how and what is the use of it. So I hope this particular thing is also clear to you. So as of now, we completed the part of placenta, we completed chorionic villi, we completed the hormones released by the placenta as well. Going ahead, what do we have? Okay, there are a few other hormones as well. Let's see that. Let us remember that HCG, HPL, relaxin are produced in women only during pregnancy. So please not go and write the female's body releases everything now. No, remember placenta is temporary endocrine tissue. So that is why it will be released only during pregnancy and not anytime else. Okay. In addition, relaxin also is produced during pregnancy only. In addition, during pregnancy, the levels of other hormones like estrogen, progesterone, cortisol. Okay. Cortisol is released from the adrenal glands. Where are the adrenal glands, children? On the top of each kidney, there is adrenal gland which will be releasing cortisol. There will be prolactin, I told you, which acts on what? The maternal mammary gland, right? Thyroxine will be there, which will be there for overall growth and development, and everything are increased several folds in the maternal blood. So in the maternal blood, everything will be increased. What are the names? Can you remember it? Estrogen, progesterone, cortisol, and what? Tell me, even I forgot. Yes. Again, prolactin and thyroxine. EPCPT. EPCPT. What is it? Estrogen, progesterone, and C for cortisol, P for prolactin, and T for thyroxine. Okay. EPCPT. So if you are coming up with some very nice way of remembering these hormones, you can comment it down as well. I could also use it for teaching more children, and you can help your companions who are in this journey of NEET to ace, to remember more things profoundly. So it's like sharing is caring, right? So yes, whenever I come through, it totally entices me whenever I come through some mnemonics, and you call these things as mnemonics, okay? When you're making a sentence and everything with the first letters, you call this as mnemonic. It becomes really easy for everyone to remember. Even I used to do that, yeah? So yes, increased production of these hormones is essential for supporting the fetal growth. If the hormones are not being secreted, obviously the fetal growth won't be happening. For the metabolic changes in the mother and maintenance of pregnancy as well. Okay, now after all this thing is done, immediately after implantation, the inner cell mass, something happens to the inner cell mass, but let's wait for that. Let's solve this question that is from NEET 2018. Hormones secreted by placenta to maintain pregnancy. Now children, tell me. The question is, hormones secreted by placenta. Placenta secretes just 1, 2, 3, 4 hormones. What are the 4 hormones, children? Tell me. HCG, HPL, estrogen, progesterones, right? So this is the correct answer. Is there any other option that you see over here that is correct? No. Relaxin is being released by what? Ovary. Oxytocin, you will get to know. This is released by pituitary, you will get to know that. Prolactin, again pituitary, something like that. Okay. So the correct option is this, and he got the mark. Next, which one of the following is not the function of placenta? Tell me. What is not the function of placenta? So let's see what is the function of placenta. It is responsible for transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide, removal of excretory waste and everything, right? That is the use of placenta, and also it is responsible for certain hormones, right? So facilitates removal of carbon dioxide and waste materials from the body. It is true. Okay. Secretes oxytocin during parturition. We have not come across this, so let's keep it aside. We will not say it's wrong. Let's keep it aside. Facilitates supply of oxygen and nutrients to the embryo. We know this. Secrete estrogen. We also know this. So with this information, even if you do not know what is the role of oxytocin, but since you're very sure about all these 3 points, can you just come across and say that this is the point, ma'am, which is wrong? Can you say this is not the function of placenta? Yes, you can say. So this is the correct answer. This is not the function of placenta. It came in NEET 2013 and here you got 1 marks. Now comes the next thing. We are talking about the inner cell mass. So immediately after implantation, the inner cell mass, that is the embryo, differentiates into an outer layer known as ectoderm, inner layer that is endoderm, middle layer that is mesoderm, that comes. Okay, these 3 layers give rise to all the tissues in the adults. So all the tissues that you see in the adults, it is given reason by these 3 what? These 3 what? Layers. Okay, ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm. We will see. It needs to be mentioned here that the inner cell mass contains certain cells known as stem cells. What do you call them? Stem cells. So you might have heard of it. The umbilical cord has stem cells to give rise to whole embryo, not whole embryo, for a whole human being itself. So these stem cells are being preserved nowadays in stem cell banks because they have the potency to give rise to a whole organism. Now all the cells of our body are different. Okay, some cells can divide into a few other cells, some may not. For example, skin cell will remain just like a skin cell. So there will be some other cells in our body which can give rise to so many different type of cells, but mostly the variability becomes very less when we grow. Okay, so basically the potency of the cell differentiate. There are different type of cells with different potencies. Okay, so basically as of now we just remember inner cell mass has a stem cell, and if you remember, if you know the potency, there are so many different types. Okay, there is pluripotency, totipotency and things like that. If you are very sure what is the potency of the stem cells which are found in the inner cell mass, do not forget to comment it down in the comment box. Okay, and I will say it is true or false, and I will also correct you if I find that you are giving a wrong answer. So this is a homework for you. So yes, that is there. What I was saying, yes, so we have 3 different layers. What do you call these layers as, children? Ectoderm, endoderm, mesoderm. What do you call these layers as? You call them as germ layers, children. Germ layers. Okay, and these germ layers are formed from the inner cell mass. Where in the inner cell mass, you know that there is hypoblast and epiblast. Epiblast is something that is responsible. Epiblast will be that something that will be going ahead and forming these germ layers slowly. Yes, the cells of the epiblast. So let's see. Epiblast, as I said, they make 3 layers: ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. Ecto as in outside. Ectoderm, you understand that ecto means what, children? Outside, the outer layer. Okay, what is meso? Meso comes as a middle. Okay, what is endo? Endo means inside, inner one. So this is outer layer, this is middle layer, and then will be the inner layer that you see over here. Now these are the layers. Okay, these layers will be having separate set of cells, and these cells, all of them will be assigned for formation of something or other in our body. Okay, let's see that as well, because that is something that gives you question. So ectoderm is responsible for giving rise to nervous tissue. So you might have studied in 9th grade that there are different type of tissue. There is connective tissue, there is nervous tissue, there is muscular tissue, there is epithelial tissue, right? There are so many tissues. So according to what type of things give rise to what, I have differentiated over here. Ectoderm, which is the outermost layer, it is responsible for the nervous tissue, for the formation of nervous tissue. Mesoderm, it is responsible for the connective tissue. Connective tissue is the one that binds one part of the body to the other. For example, blood is a connective tissue. Blood is a fluid connective tissue. Okay. Now, when you have muscular tissue, you have different type of muscles, smooth muscles, skeletal muscles, this and that. So all this thing arises from the mesoderm. So you are making a baby, you are making a proper baby with all these layers. What do you call these layers? Again, I'll tell you, they are known as germ layers, and they all arise from the epiblast cells. Right? Now, endoderm, they will be giving rise to some epithelial tissue. Mostly epithelial tissues are formed by three of them, but mainly some part of it is formed by the endoderm as well. Epithelial as in that covers the body, the tissue that covers the parts of our body. For example, skin is a type of epithelial tissue, comes under epithelial tissue. Okay, there will be covering of our body which will be all done by the epithelial tissue itself, and this is given rise by the endoderm. Now, when I came across NEET questions, I found that there are certain extra things also that you should be knowing. So let me show you that as well. The ectoderm is responsible for epidermis. Okay. So you might be saying that, ma'am, you said just now that endoderm is responsible. I also told that some epithelial tissue is being formed by endoderm. But obviously, all of them take part in the formation of the epithelial tissues. Okay. So these things, children, you have to remember. So this comes as a very chota sa crucial thing, but again it is very important. Little bit of time. As of now we were not mugging up anything, but over here we need to understand and we need to relate. Okay. So ectoderm, children, it is responsible for epidermis, for the formation of glands, for cornea and for your eye lens. So remember, eye lens, cornea, your glands, your epidermis, everything is done by ectoderm. Everything that you can see, you can remember like that. But glands is not something that you can see, but yeah, this is an exception. Okay, can you remember like that? Yeah. So basically you are able to see because of your nervous tissue. So your nervous tissue is also formed by your ectoderm. Okay, so now let's not make it complicated, let's make it easy. Ectoderm is responsible for eye lens formation, cornea formation, okay, and what's outside? Skin. So basically epidermis formation. Yeah, and this I am able to see and everything because of the nervous tissue. So the nervous tissue is also formed by the ectoderm. Done. Extra thing that you have is glands, because glands are the ones that say that nervous tissue you have to release this thing. Yeah, you can relate like that. Okay. Now it comes to mesoderm. What do we have? Mesoderms are the ones responsible for muscles. That is the most simplest thing. M for mesoderm, M for muscular layer, right? So it is responsible for muscle. It is responsible for your kidney formation and for your gonads. What are gonads, children? Gonads are those organs you might have known until, obviously, if you are studying human reproduction, you should be knowing what is gonads. These are the organs which will be giving out what? Basically the gametes and everything. Okay, the place where gamete formation will be taking place. Sperm and egg. So gonad in female is ovary, gonad in male is testis. Okay, so gonads, the muscles, the dermis and the kidney is being formed by the mesoderm, main guy. Okay, now endoderm is responsible for pancreas. For the lining of the urinary bladder as well. Pancreas is a very important organ which releases what? Insulin. Insulin makes the glucose level normal, right? So you have pancreas, you have urinary bladder. So everything that is between lower side you can remember like that. Okay, pancreas and urinary bladder, they are all in the lower side. So all of them are released by the endoderm. Yeah. So let's revise without this thing. Without this, can we rise? Can we rise? Let's hide this. Let's hide this. So with you, I am also going to revise things. Starting with ectoderm. Is it the innermost layer or outermost layer? It is the outermost layer. Ecto as in outer. Okay. Now ectoderm is responsible for everything outside. Eyes, eye lens, cornea, yeah, epidermis, and then we have nervous tissue, and nervous tissue is working because of the glands. So this is done by the ectoderm. This is being formed by the ectoderm. Coming to mesoderm, mesoderm is responsible for connective tissue formation that connects all different parts of your body, and then you have muscular tissue formation, which is why I say that mesoderm is the one that forms the muscles. Well, apart from the muscles, they are doing major things also. They are helping in the formation of gonads. If gonads is not there, reproduction will won't be there. So gonads is being formed. Kidney is very much important for me at least. So kidney is also being formed by the mesoderm. Apart from gonads, muscles, and this there was dermis. Dermis comes under epidermis. Okay, there are different layers. So dermis is also being formed by the mesoderm. Coming to endoderm, which is the innermost layer. So inside of our body, what do we have? Inner side, we have pancreas and the urinary bladder, and some of the epithelial tissue are also being formed by the endoderm. What are these layers known as germ layers? Where are they formed from? From the epiblast, or basically from your NCERT, as we say, inner cell mass is responsible for this. Okay, they didn't differentiate into epiblast or things like that. So directly, please children, if inner cell mass also come, do not say ma'am taught something else. So inner cell mass or ICM, okay, they are responsible for everything. Got it? Yes. So this was the thing. Okay, I got from MTG book. So everything, what are they forming and everything is over here as well. If you want, you can go have a read for this. Going ahead, eye lens is formed from, tell me children, ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm, ectoderm and mesoderm. What is the correct answer? Eye lens, everything that I can see. This ectoderm, A. Okay, it came in 1992 and with this he got 1 marks. Okay, now comes the time for fetal growth, and this is the most, awaited thing that I was waiting for, because I like to teach you this thing very well. Let's see. What are the major features of embryonic development at various months of pregnancy, which is what we are going to study as of now. The human pregnancy lasts 9 months. There are only 9 months for the human pregnant female. Do you know for how many months pregnancy lasts in dogs, elephants and cats? Tell me, any idea? Dogs, elephants, cats. Dogs and cats almost 2 months. elephant, it comes to be 2 years. So you have to go check the number if you really want to know. Yes. Now, what is important for us? In human beings, after 1 month of pregnancy, the embryo's heart is formed, showing, okay. So over here, I want to bring a calendar, okay, and we will be studying like this so that it does not become boring. There are 9 months, okay. In the first month, by the end of the first month, you will be seeing that the heart is formed. Ayo, why is it not writing? Why? Okay, now it's writing. Just a second. Yeah. So here, heart is formed by the end of first month. So basically, you can see the heartbeat. The doctors, not you, you cannot see the heartbeat. Basically, the doctors with the stethoscope, they can check. Oh, okay, fine. The heart is beating. So heart has been formed. It happens at the end of first month. Okay. Now, this child's heart is born. I call this child as Pappu. This is my Pappu guy. Okay. So Pappu's heart is formed. Next thing that happens is basically heart is formed. Now, some easy things. Limbs. Okay, limbs are being formed, and also digits are being formed. This thing that you see over here, these are digits. This whole part that you see, it's a limb. Okay, so limbs and digits are being formed over here. Can I write that? In the second month, limbs and digits are being formed. Okay, done. Now what happens? Can you guess? In the third month. In the third month, what happens? Any guesses? Any guesses? Any guesses? So, there will be formation of external genitalia also, which happens here itself. What do you mean by external genitalia? The external genital organs. It will be different in males and females. You studied in males and females, right? In males, it was penis. And in females, what was it? It was mons pubis and everything that comes along with it. So, everything of it is also there by the end of these 3 months. So, 3 into, basically, there are 3 months. And in each month, there will be 4 weeks. So 3 into 4, how many? There will be 12 weeks in total. You call this as the first trimester. I would have, yeah. So basically, this is what? The first trimester. So by the end of first trimester, there will be a lot of things being found. One is your heart, then is your limbs and digits, and the third one being what? Even I forgot. This is why I was asking you to tell. Yes, I remember. Yes. It was what? Organ and organ system. How can I forget this? Organ system. Okay, your organs and organ system are also formed within the third month. So basically, by the end of the first trimester, okay, by the end of the first trimester, all of these things are being formed. So I'll just make it a bit clean for you to why does this happen? Why do I do this? Yes, first trimester. Okay, that is by the end of 12 weeks. These things are being formed. Okay, 4th month, let's skip. 5th month, if we talk about, now Pappu is all ready to outshine others. Okay, Pappu will be having hair. Okay, there will be hair on the head. There will be hair on the head. That is one major thing. Okay, continuing to that, on the 6th month, this is the 5th month, right? On the 6th month, there will be hair on the body as well. Pappu asked God that give me hair on my head. God gave, and then God said, hey, wait, I will have to give you one more thing. That is what? Hair on the body, so that you could be protected. Okay, so this is also there. Fine. So this is the 5th month, this is the 6th month. Now along with it, there will be other things as well. Eyelids are going to open and everything, the eyelids are going to get separated, the eyelashes are going to be formed and everything is going to happen. Let's see when that happens. Okay, by the end of 24 weeks, the body is covered with fine hair, eyelids separate and eyelashes are formed. So basically what happens over here, by this time, the eyelids will also be separated. Okay, eyelids will be separated and the eyelashes are also going to form. Eyelashes are also going to form. So basically this happens over here in the 6th month. This is the 5th month. Okay, 4th month we skip, this also skip. After the end of it, obviously the baby will be delivered by the 9th month, by the end of the 9th month. So basically children, what you need to learn, you need to remember about the 1st month, 2nd month, 3rd month, 5th month and the 6th month, what all happens in there. Okay, rest everything is also does not there given in the NCERT, so you also need not learn it. And also you need to remember what happens in the trimester. So first trimester is of 12 weeks. At this point of time you get all these things being made. Okay, second trimester 1, 2, 3 over here. Now again 12 plus 12, 24. You have 24, what's say 24 weeks around here, and this is the second trimester. And after second trimester all these things will be formed, that is hair will be there on the head region, there will be hair on the body, as well as the eyelids will be separated. As of now it was not separated, it will be separated, and eyelashes also will be formed. And by this month obviously development of it has to grow, right? It has just been formed, everything is just in the initial stage. All of these things that you see are getting formed. Okay, so this happens in the other months that you see over here. Yes, so by the end, how many trimesters we have? First, second and third. We have 3 trimesters. Okay, and by the end of it obviously the baby will be born. Now I want you to remember it. How can we do that? We will hide this. So children, remember, Papa is there. Okay, by the 1st month the heart will be formed. That is why if you keep stethoscope, your heartbeat could be heard. Okay, Papu's heartbeat could be heard. Now fine, heart is formed in the 1st month. 2nd month, Papu will be gifted with hands and legs. So basically limbs, not hands and legs, we say limbs. And the limbs will be, Papu will see, oh God, you didn't give me digits. It will be so sad, right? So God gave it digits as well. Okay, the fingers and everything. Fine, it's still being formed. It's not like everything is formed entirely correctly. No, it's still under the formation stage. But yes, this is the outline of the body is being made. Next thing that happens is what? Basically, again I forgot, how can I forget this? Yeah, organ and organ system is being formed. So basically all the different organs that is needed to sustain the human body, that will be formed. But again, this will be just the initial stage. There will be obviously time needed to make it a proper organ and organ system. Okay, so all this happens within the 3 months. That means 12 weeks. 3 into 4 is 12 weeks. That is by the 1st trimester, everything, all these 3 things will be formed. Now 4th month, rest. 5th month, it's not actually rest. All these things that are being formed will be obviously in the developmental stage. Yeah. Now on the 5th month, Papu says, God, please give me some hair so that I can like have some style and stuff like that. So basically by this month, that is 5th month, Papu will be starting having what? Hair on the head. On the 6th month, God will say, hey, you do all the styling things later on. As of now, I need to make you a proper baby. So obviously I need to protect you by giving hair on the body. So hair on the body is there. Apart from that, obviously God says, let's separate the eyelids now. So eyelids are separated and eyelashes are also being present over there. Now this happens in the 6th month. That means by the end of the 2nd trimester. By the end of the 2nd trimester, all this thing happens. Now in the 3 months that are there, obviously again development and everything will happen. And on the 9th month, the parturition process will happen. That is expelling out of the baby will be going to happen. So I hope this thing is clear to you. How many trimester we have? Yes, tell me children. How many? It will be 3. Okay, let's see. In human beings, after 1 month of pregnancy, the embryo's heart is formed. The first sign of growing fetus may be noticed by listening to the heart sound. Oh yeah, this is very important. What is the first sign of growing fetus, children? It is listening to the heartbeat. What is the first sign of pregnancy? It is the presence of HCG, human chorionic gonadotropin, which is why when women do pregnancy tests, they are actually messing up with the human chorionic gonadotropin. It is the reason which is why the lines are being appearing on the strip that they are using for checking if they are pregnant or not. Okay, so HCG is something different. It is the first sign of pregnancy. Over here, first sign of fetus formation. That is what? The heart sound. I hope you remember it. Now, by the end of the 2nd month of pregnancy, the fetus develops limbs and digits. By the end of 12 weeks, that is 1st trimester, most of the major organ systems are formed. For example, the limbs and the external genital organs are well developed. Okay. Now, the first movements of the fetus and appearance on the hair of the head are usually observed during the 5th month. Yeah. So, there's one thing that I missed is that along with hair, okay, for style, apart from that, it will be able to move as well. So movement is also observed in the 5th month. Okay, by the end of about 24 weeks, that is the end of trimester, 2nd trimester, the body is covered with fine hair. This happens in the 6th month. Eyelids are separated and eyelashes are formed. By the end of 9 months of pregnancy, the fetus is fully developed and ready to be outside, that is ready for delivery. So coming to this, I have to write movement over here. So first movement is also observed in the 5th month. Okay, done. Going ahead. The first movements of the fetus and appearance of hair on its head are usually observed during which month of pregnancy? It is the 5th month. It came in year 2010 and now you have got 1 more marks. Yeah. So you might be feeling really good while reading all this thing, right? Because we are able to answer questions which probably we would not have been able to if you were not thorough with the NCERT and everything, right? Now let's talk about parturition and lactation. That is the expelling of the baby. First we will read and then we will explain. The average duration of human pregnancy is about 9 months, which is known as gestation period. This period is known as gestation period. Gestation as in the growth of the baby happens inside the womb of the mother, right? So this period is gestation period. Vigorous contraction of the uterus at the end of pregnancy causes expulsion or the delivery of the baby. That is, if the contraction is happening of the uterus, that is only when the baby could move out. So, yeah. So basically vigorous contraction happens and this process of delivery of the fetus is known as parturition. Finally, when the baby goes out, this process is known as parturition. Parturition not goes out, basically the delivery, the whole process is known as parturition. Okay, the delivery of the baby, of the fetus, it's known as parturition. Parturition is induced by complex neuroendocrine mechanism. What do you mean by neuroendocrine? Here, your nervous system is included as well as your hormonal system is included, which is why it is known as neuroendocrine. Endocrine, hormonal, neuro, nervous system, right? Both of them have to play a pivotal role over here. The signals for parturition originates from the fully developed fetus and the placenta. This is very much important, I am telling you. Where does the signal come from? Originate of parturition from? Signal for parturition come from the fully developed fetus, the baby itself which is there inside. It gives a signal and also the placenta. Both of them, two things induces the signal, okay, for parturition, which induces mild uterine contraction. So they are the ones who say, please do something, and they do what? They induce, they start off mild uterine contraction. Now this is known as fetal ejection reflex. Now how is the question being framed? What is that something that induces fetal ejection reflex? It is what? The fully developed fetus and the placenta. They are the ones that induces this, yeah. This triggers release of oxytocin from the maternal pituitary. So maternal pituitary is going to release something that is known as oxytocin. It's a hormone. Oxytocin acts on the uterine muscles and causes stronger uterine contraction, which then stimulates further secretion of oxytocin and a lot of things. Now, from this point, I'll take the charge. So, there we have the baby, yeah, and you know the baby is inside what, Claire? Your baby is inside the uterus, right? So, let's make the uterus. It might look like a... Okay, just a second. Okay, anyways, so children, did I erase? Yes, I erased. Why did I erase? That's the next question, but we do not have time for that question, so we'll just make this. Okay, this is the uterus. Now you have to understand, is it visible? Yes, this is the endometrium layer, right? Inside the endometrium layer, you have very important layer which is known as what? Myometrium. What is it? This particular layer that you see over here, it is known as myometrium. Remember the muscular layer? Okay, and the, okay, just give me a second. Okay. Okay. The baby's umbilical cord is attached to the uterine wall with the help of endometrium, right? The endometrium, the placenta is being there. Here you have what? The placenta being formed. So anyways, now listen to me very carefully, okay? The baby, the fetus will be releasing out, will be releasing what? Androgens. When it's fully grown, it will say, I cannot stay inside. I'll release androgens. Okay. Now, where androgens are male sex hormones, but how can it be found in female body? Basically, it is also found in female body. We also have androgens. Okay, but in a very limited amount. And it is being released by the adrenal gland. What is it? Adrenal gland. I told you, right? There is adrenal gland above the kidneys. So, above the kidneys, there is adrenal gland which is responsible for androgens. Now, these androgens are also being released inside the uterus. And the baby wants to go out, yeah. Now these androgens are being captured over here with the help of endometrium layer secretions. There will be so many secretions around here, and these secretions will be converting these androgens into something that is known as what, children? It will be known as estrogen. What is it? Estrogen. Yeah. Now this estrogen basically, okay, what has happened? Androgen is being released. Yeah, done. And then the uterine wall basically gives out some secretion, which is why all this androgen is being converted to what? Estrogen. Now estrogen, until now progesterone was playing a major role. Now estrogen says, hey wait, let me do things that I need to do. So estrogen causes a real great increase in the number of receptors. In the number of receptors on the, in the myometrium layer. So these are receptors. These are what receptors? What receptors? Oxytocin receptors. So as of now, until now, the receptors were not many. There were very few receptors. When the amount of estrogen is being produced, there is too much amount of estrogen. What happens during this particular time? The receptors in the myometrium layer, it increases. So it is not like oxytocin was not released until now. The receptors are being increased. Now there will, what is the use of receptors? Basically, remember, there will be a chemical substance. Receptors will be there to receive it. And when the receptors will be there to receive it, it will be giving out a reaction. It will be sending out a whole different signal for any action to be performed. For any action to be performed. Okay? It can be negative, it can be positive. Now over here, oxytocin receptors are more, right? And estrogen is being released, which is why all this thing happening. Now what happens? The mother's pituitary gland is always active. Over here, the mother's pituitary is releasing a hormone which is known as oxytocin. Yeah? Yes? This oxytocin goes, and this time when it comes, it finds that there are so many receptors. Now what is the use of oxytocin? Oxytocin is a hormone that is going to cause contraction. Now the baby will be starting to the uterus will be starting to contract. Now when this contraction will happen, the baby will slowly move down. Understood? What happened? Basically, the amount of oxytocin receptors increased. Now from the mother's pituitary, when oxytocin is being released, at this point of time, there are so many receptors to receive the oxytocin. Now when there are so many receptors to receive this oxytocin, it gives signal and says that, hey, uterus, contract. Hey, uterus, hey, myometrium, which is there, this particular myometrium which is there. Now this will, myometrial contraction will happen. Now this will contract, and now when this contracts, the baby will slowly move down. Now when baby moves down, there will be receptors over here as well. Okay, these are known as stretch receptors. What do you call this? Stretch receptors. They are going to stretch the birth canal so that the baby can move down, right? There will be stretch receptors over here. Stretch receptors over here, which will again go and give the signal that, oh, please release more and more oxytocin. These stress receptors are going to tell that oxytocin, please being released more, please, please, please. So that what will happen? Again there will be contraction, the baby could easily move out. So this is a positive loop that you see over here. Because of this thing getting activated, it is going to say that please, mother's pituitary gland, please be active and release more amount of oxytocin so that the baby can easily move down. But the signal was induced by the baby itself, that the fetus itself and the placenta, which is why it is known as fetal ejection reflex. It want to move out. This is a reflex action. Ejection as in moving out. Yeah, right. So fetal ejection reflex is induced by them only, the fetus and the placenta. And what is it actually doing? The androgens are being released by the adrenal glands. These androgens are being captured and being converted to estrogen. Estrogen makes a very high increase in the number of receptors in the myometrium layer, which is the muscular layer, right? Now, when the maternal pituitary gland will be releasing oxytocin, at this point of time, what will happen? There will be so many receptors to receive it. When it comes and receives it, it will cause strong contraction. When it causes strong contraction, what will happen? Slowly the baby will move down. When the baby moves down, there will be stretch receptors that will be getting activated, which will again say maternal pituitary to release more amount of oxytocin. Again, this will lead to what? More amount of contraction, and the baby will be finally moving out. So at this point of time, obviously relaxin will also be active. I told you that this end of pregnancy, relaxin is also active. It is from ovary, which says that, hey, the walls that is present over here, the muscles and everything, they have to relax so that it could easily move out as well. I hope this is clear to you. Okay. Now, very important question coming from this particular part is, the pituitary gland is for babies, is the fetus, or mothers? It is obviously mothers. Now, until now we were studying about anterior pituitary. Anterior pituitary was the one that gives out LH and FSH. This is from the posterior side of the pituitary gland. So this is posterior pituitary, which releases what? Oxytocin, and the oxytocin is responsible for all this process that you see over here. Yeah, apart from oxytocin, there are other hormones as well, which are known as prostaglandins. I cannot say hormones, basically prostaglandins are also secretions, okay. Prostaglandins are also there, which is responsible for the contractions, but it is not from the mother's pituitary. Please do not remember like that, okay. But it is responsible for contraction. I hope you understand that. Now we will read this. So basically, this triggers release of oxytocin from the maternal pituitary. Oxytocin acts on the uterine muscle and causes stronger uterine contraction, which in turn stimulates further secretion of oxytocin. So when it happens, it's a positive loop that happens. The stimulatory reflex between uterine contraction and oxytocin secretion continues, resulting in stronger and stronger contraction. So uterus is contracting, it is giving signal to oxytocin. Oxytocin is coming, uterus is contracting. So this thing happens again and again. This leads to expulsion of the baby out of the uterus to the birth canal, and this is known as parturition. Soon after the infant is delivered, the placenta is also expelled out of the uterus. So placenta also comes out of the uterus, and then we cut the connection between placenta and the growing fetus, which is known as the umbilical cord. What do you think the doctors inject to induce delivery? What will be that something that will be injected by the doctors to induce the delivery? Obviously, it has to be something related to oxytocin, because oxytocin will be causing the contractions. Yes. Coming to the next part. The fetal ejection reflex in humans is triggers the release of what? Fetal ejection reflex in humans. Okay. Triggers the release of what? So basically, initially when there will be mild contraction, that will be happening because there will be some amount of oxytocin being present over here, right? Some amount of receptors being present over here. So basically, this particular thing will be triggering the release of more what? It will be oxytocin from the fetal pituitary? No. Human chorionic gonadotropin from the placenta? No. Human placental lactogen from the placenta? No. Oxytocin from the maternal pituitary. This is the correct answer. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. Going ahead, the last part, that is lactation. The mammary glands of the female undergo differentiation during pregnancy and starts producing milk towards the end of pregnancy by the process known as lactation. So, the production of milk is known as what? Lactation. This is done by the mammary glands. This helps the mother in feeding the newborn. The milk produced during the initial few days of lactation is known as colostrum. In 2024, this question came. Okay, this is colostrum. And why is colostrum very important? Because it contains several antibodies, absolutely essential for the to develop resistance for the newborn babies. What antibodies? IgA, immunoglobulin A. IgA is the one something that is transported from the mother to the baby with the help of the milk. Okay, because baby is not pro at fighting things, right? It does not have antibodies in itself. Okay, our body slowly start producing antibodies when we come across certain infection. But as of now, the mother is giving passively this amount of this IgA and antibodies with the help of what? The first milk, that is colostrum, okay, which is kind of yellowish in color. Now, breastfeeding during the initial period of infant growth is recommended by doctors for bringing up a healthy baby. If breastfeeding is not, then obviously you're missing out a lot of things like IgA, right? So that is one thing I hope you will understand. So with this, children, we have completed all the questions that you see over here. So let's just revise once and then I'll just finish it off. Hormones secreted by the placenta to maintain pregnancy. There are 4 hormones by placenta. Those are these. Okay. Which one of the following is not the function of placenta? Tell me, which is not the function of placenta? Facilitates removal of carbon dioxide? Does. Secrete oxytocin during parturition? I don't think it does. Facilitates supply of oxygen and nutrition to the embryo? Obviously. Secretes estrogen? Yes. 4 hormones. In that one is this. So this is the correct option. This is not something that is the function of placenta. The first movements of the fetus and the appearance of hair on its head usually observed during what month? The month, 5th month in Gonster style. So obviously it has to be the 5th month. Yeah. Now, eye lens is formed by everything external that we can see, everything ectoderm. Okay. The fetal ejection reflex in human triggers the release of what? Fetal ejection reflex in the humans is triggered, in humans triggers the release of what? oxytocin from the maternal pituitary. So these things I have explained in the video. Please watch the video in detail. With this, are you ready for the test series that is going to be uploaded tomorrow? Tell me if you're ready. Tell that I'm confident, ma'am. I'll be acing the steps. I'll acing the test anyways. Okay. So basically, I'm just waiting for that. There is nothing that is out of the box, but I'm telling you, I have included complicated questions, easy questions, everything, moderate questions, everything in there. But with the limits of 30 questions, obviously, I have to give questions that will be very important for you to crack NEET. So that could be something that could be on the tougher end. But for that, what you need to do, you have to go through the entire NCERT, read. If you're continuously seeing my videos, please continue to see the videos, have your notes being created, have mnemonics being created, and everything. It's all going to be sorted. Yeah, and I hope that you're done with the previous classes that I have given you, right, for fertilization, implantation, all the different parts of human reproduction as well. So for today, I'm not giving you any homework. The homework that I gave you was that, okay, you have to find the answer and come back and comment it down. What is the potency of the stem cells in the inner cell mass? That is the only thing. Yeah, can you do that? Yes, that's all. If you think that this particular video was useful for you, this thing that I'm trying to do for you is useful for you, and you're enjoying the process of learning with me, then do not forget to subscribe to the channel and have a really good day, children. And tomorrow morning the test questions will be uploaded. By evening there will be solutions being uploaded. Yeah, so bye bye, take care, all the best.